Hello everyone. In this video we are going to talk about some moves played between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura in a rapid game. So we are starting from 20th move onwards. Now it's white to move. First let's understand the dynamics of the position. So we can clearly see that the rook is pointing at the king and a black rook is defending the 7th rank. Not just that, white has 2 pawns and black has 3 pawns on the king side of black, so white can push them to create an attack. And on the other side, black has 2 pawns, white has 4 connected pawns, so black can use them to attack the white. And with that, let's start our discussion. So we can clearly see that it's white to move and white has to play something good. So our first consideration might be e5. So e5 if we play, then our d5 square control is lost. So black will plant the knight on d5 and that will be a monster piece. Let's see this. So knight d5 is actually a monster piece and it is controlling a lot of central squares included c7, and the key attacking square of white now is being protected permanently by knight. So this is not what white wanted. Instead, we can see that the attack on the king is very active. So if the bishop comes here and joins this diagonal, so this will be very useful and active bishop, and this bishop's value will be much more than this knight. So this is played by Magnus Carlsen. And then we can see that attack is raging on the black side. So Hikaru Nakamura decides to play the move b6 and king b7 so that he can walk out of this pin. But he could also play knight e8, defending the pawn and continuing in the pin. And eventually he had to play b6 and b7 a little further into the game. But he had to play this also. After knight e8, he could go knight d6. So these were the ideas, but he chose to run away from the pin immediately without inviting any further attacking chances with the pin. So he plays b6, and now let us look from white's perspective. So white here had some moves like a4 was a consideration, even b4 was a consideration, because after b4 black could not play a5 himself, because this gives a suitable formation for black's king if a5 is played directly. So this line here, line of pawns, is very suitable for black, so b4 just undermines that. Also, after playing b6, white has given control of c6 square, so white rook can plant itself there, which will also attack pawn on e6, so it has to be defended then. Hence this is a very good move, and Magnus Carlsen plays this move. But as we discussed, black has no more options than to defend the pawn. After all, it's a material and he has nothing direct. So here either we can develop with the rook c1, pressurizing even more, or we can see a threat from the black side. That's pushing the pawn, because now pawn is defended, it can push itself to e5, blocking our attacking diagonal and hence the attack. Then we might play next rook c1, but it will be useless. I mean, not useless, but definitely not that important as it is looking now with an attack. So Magnus plays this move, bishop e5. Now the pawn cannot be pushed and our bishop is still active. So now it's time for black's king to run out of the pin. After all other things have been taken care of. So black's king just moves out of the pin, attacking the white rook, which is now undefended. Hence Magnus Carlsen just defends it and doubles up on this c file. So here Hikaru Nakamura just defends its c7 pawn, which was attacked 3 times and defended 2 times. Hence, a third defender was also to be introduced, and it is now being introduced. Hence, now white has to either attack it more or play in some different direction. Magnus Carlsen first defends the e4 pawn because the knight was ready to take the e4 pawn, so it had to be defended. f3 was a must, and black just played knight back, even more defending the c7 square and hoping to get knight d6 to block the attack of bishop and somehow decrease the pressure on c7. Now h4. Now h4 was okay because Magnus did not want to invite an attack through these pawns on the right side from black side, but I think b4 was more better because it firstly doesn't give white to play a5, black to play a5, and not only just that, it is a pressurizing move from white on the king side of black, along with these rooks and bishop. So it was another plan that could have been in the game. Also, the move king f2 looked very good because you are activating the king and we are slowly reaching to the end game. uh, Either it would have been inviting rook d2, but we would have been one rook g king g3, and then the game would have been continued, but Magnus decides to play h4, which is not a bad move. And that's it for the video. Thank you. We have discussed some plans, what was going on in the position in this game, and how the top players carried out their moves. Thank you.